Hello, I'm Dr. Chris Parker, and today we're talking about the basic principles of usability evaluation. We're not going to go into the details of how you evaluate everything. Those will come in later videos. We're going to talk about just what is user testing, and then 3 types of evaluation that you will face as a UX usability designer. So, firstly, why is user testing important? Products and services have many groups of users, and let's be honest, you're probably not one of them. So trying to empathize and really understand how all these disparate groups feel and react and what they need is kind of impossible. So if we want to understand what appeals to these people, what works for them, what makes their heart sing, and what makes them put into deep despair, we need to conduct evaluation with them. So what is use testing? Use testing is evaluating how a user experiences interaction with prototypes, such as apps, your computer systems, any kind of physical artifact. And then these insights you get from what they say, what they do, what they're saying they're feeling, that gets fed back into the design process to say, these things are really good, we need to keep these, but let's find a solution, a different way of doing this, because this is causing a problem. Now, we're going to focus on usability and user experience, so UX design. And it's really finding the issues that are in your product before you sell the item. The last thing you want to do is just listen to everyone in your office, hope that they have a great insight, and then it turns out that people using your product aren't like in your office. They don't like it, but it's already out there, and it's very difficult to solve that, or at least to solve it fast. The standard approach of users assessment is just that. It's going, hey, these people are my friends. I'm going to get them in. This is my colleague. Let's get them in. We are the users, but often you're in our design team, and designers are strange people. We think differently. We love challenges. We love games. We love things that go, oh, how could this be different? Normal people are not like us, and they're not going to respond to the design in the same way. They have different expectations. So getting people in who are nothing like you, people who are not your friends, is going to give you a richness of data that will make your products better. It's really, really important. So what do we evaluate? In the early phase of design, we have paper prototypes, we have lo-fi prototypes. And I'm using the plural there, prototypes. We have many of them because we're doing fast iteration. If you're spending more than half an hour building a lo-fi prototype, you are spending too long. So you build it fast, give it to people, 1 or 2, see what works, what fails. Get that failure out of the way. Use your use testing to prove that your idea is rubbish. And if you can't prove the idea is rubbish, excellent. Let's now move on to the next phase of high fidelity, where we're spending a long time refining the design. Just think, get rid of all the rubbish bits first before wasting your time. And this helps you understand what is really important. So you're walking through the key tasks that your users care about. Maybe your app will do 100 different things, and maybe those things are incredible, but let's just focus on the things that are important. Here's an example. It is a simple paper prototype app which I made. Actually, it's not paper, I made it in Illustrator, but we'll call it that. Shops have hundreds of pages. We just got 6 here. That's enough to give to somebody to click button, to scroll, and to see, do the concepts and assumptions that we're making of how the app works actually work with people? And that's really what this is. So where do you evaluate? There's 2 kind of places that you can do. You can do a laboratory, or you can do real life. Laboratory is any physical space where you control it. So this room here, this is my dining room, come office, but this could be a lab. So I can know what's happening here, I control what people are doing, I control the sound, I can video you. And the problem is that if somebody walked in here and started using my design, They're going to want to please me. They're going to tell me certain things. So it's not going to give me a very realistic situation. A real life situation is much better where you're going out and talking to real people on the bus, in coffee shops, in all these places. It takes a lot of time. It's very time consuming, but that gives you the best results. There's 3 kinds of evaluation that you can do. As I said before, there's controlled in laboratory, there's natural such as an airport somewhere, or there's a third one, which is non-user evaluations. Let's start looking at the first one of controlled settings. So a controlled setting is, like I said, in a lab. You control what people see, you control what they do, it's easy to record, you can use advanced equipment, and that's wonderful. You can apply many research methods, so observation, interview, questionnaire, and it is the most scientific way of doing things. But it's not necessarily the best because, people doing experiments like to say things that please the please the scientist. So maybe it's worth looking over that. The other one is natural settings, which is people who are just on the street and say, hey, would you mind using this? Because when you're relaxing at home, you're in one mind frame, you're relaxed, you're up for everything. When you're stressed going out about, you're not going to focus on many things. Maybe you get irritated faster. So the researcher has to be very unobtrusive, but you do end up with very good results. That they are very positive, they're very real, they're dependable, and you know what's going to happen. The other type is non-user evaluation. This is where you have expert reviews, things called heuristics, lists of topics that if you do these things in your design will be good. So it's a really important way of doing things. So we evaluate prototypes, we evaluate to improve design, to make things better for users. So design, present, evaluate, reflect on what went wrong, what went bad, and repeat. Do that and you'll get rid of bad ideas, you'll save money, it'll just be better all over in every way. And what you're evaluating are maybe things like eye tracking, depending on do you care about where someone's looking, or maybe just the general usability, effectiveness, efficiency, safety, utility, learnability, or memorability. We covered these in the last video. And then when you're running a test, you've got to think, what am I trying to do? Am I trying to understand if my users understand the purpose of my website? Can they complete tasks that are important? Are there things that are difficult for people? Is there anything that doesn't make sense? And is the new design that we're doing actually better than the existing one? These are all things that you will conduct in your usability testing. And if you do this right, your product is going to be better in every way. It's going to work better, work faster, people are going to love it, and more importantly, they're going to spend money. They're going to buy into your company, buy into your product, buy into your service, and you are sustainable. If you don't have usable products, then your product, your app, your website, whatever it is, will fail.